Hello everyone and welcome to the House in Fata Morgana, a Requiem for Innocence. This is the fan disc to the absolutely critically acclaimed House in Fata Morgana, which I absolutely loved. For those of you who've been with my channel for a long time, you know that I played through the game, but I was forced to unfortunately take down pretty much all of it. So unfortunately, I don't have the playthrough up anymore, but damn if I didn't love every second of that game. And I am so excited to play this. Thanks to the fine folks at Manga Gamer for providing me with a copy of this game. Let's get right into it. There's a gift. I don't know what gift is, actually. That's probably something that'll light up, like, maybe after the game is done or whatever. Oh, Ascento Dele. Tiles waste away in obscurity. Happily ever after. Return to title. I don't know which one to do, actually. Which one should I do? I don't know, I don't know how this is structured. I don't know if I should not play this. Should I play these? I don't know. Let's do Ascento Dele. I don't know if I'm saying that right. If I'm saying that wrong, please let me know. I think we made pretty good friends, don't you? Just so you know, this game, as the first game, does not have any voice acting. Those were his last words before disappearing into the darkness. Their time together was brief, and they knew nothing of each other. Oh, I missed it. It's Michelle. Oh, just so you know, since this is a fan disc sequel, there's probably going to be spoilers. So, you know. If you haven't played the first game, you know, just letting you know. Ah! Welcome back, Didier. I've missed you. Hang on. I gotta change that. I thought I fixed this. It's not fast enough. Hello there, Michelle. Man, Didier's such a prick for what he did to us. What a pleasant welcome this is. Why is this... Hang on. Why is this so slow? It shouldn't be this slow. I mean, this is... Oh, hang on. 15... Wait. You have to come all the way out here to meet me, though. Why do they do that? I naturally assume that going right is making the game faster. That's not the case. The last time I played did that too. I hadn't seen you in so long. Now, for those of you who have not played the game, I don't want to spoil anything, but I'm going to spoil something anyway. In Michelle's story, Michelle is actually... I forget what he was. He was like a guy, but he has no like male anatomy. He has no male parts. So he was seen as kind of like castaway, like some kind of freak of nature, so he was locked away in the mansion for all these years. And then his brother comes back and basically pretends like, and they think that he's a witch because he was in there for so long. He was creepy. A lot of rumors were circling around the mansion. So all these people, they come in, they start to attack. They burst their way in the mansion. They try to attack and kill the witch. He's not really a witch, obviously, but the charge was led by his brother Didier there. And Michelle here, he's like, "Hey, don't you remember me? I'm your brother." And then he was basically like, "I don't know you," and ended up killing him. It was a horrifying scene. This was obviously before all that happened. I haven't seen you in so long, and waiting inside is so dreary. What a wonderful sister I've been blessed with. You'd best be careful, though. The sun is quite strong today. Yeah, they basically treated him like he was a woman for all these years. Mother would throw a fit if she knew you were out here in this weather. Do not worry. I heard from a servant you'd be back around now, so I haven't been out terribly long. And I know you're not one to be tardy either, Dieter. I took all the necessary precautions. Well, curses. Now I'll have to be absolutely certain nothing delays my next return. Yes, indeed you will. Well, since you're here, would you like to ride back with me? On your horse? I would love to, but I came on horseback as well. She's tied to the tree over there. Unlike your brothers, your horse is smart enough to follow you back. Alright then, I suppose I shall. How was your expedition, Didier? No, more of the usual. Just patrols, really. No engagements to speak of. Quiet is never a bad thing. I'm not sure if I'd say never. Do you think something might happen? No. Nothing you need to concern yourself with, at least. If you say so. Oh yes, Mother said she had something important to tell you and to see her as soon as you arrived. Now that I do not like the sound of. I can hardly blame you. Mother has something important to tell you are the last words anyone wants to hear. You've gotten feisty now, haven't you? Don't tell her I said that. I wouldn't dream of selling out my beautiful baby sister. In fact, I beg you not to say anything of the sort to her either. She can be a bit easy to set off. If anyone, I think Georges needs the warning most. You are on fire today, Michelle. And there she is. The world-renowned Castle Bollinger in our lovely home. I'm not a child anymore, Didier. I know our estate is not nearly as large or impressive as a castle. You used to love when I called it that. I also used to not be 13. Oh, 13 is still plenty a child. Now hold on tight. We're going to gallop the rest of the way. Yeah! Wait, slow down, Didier. Try not to fall. Good day, Sir Didier. Thank you. Everyone looks well. Where's my father? Lord Antonin is out on personal business. He should be returning tomorrow. Thanks. Guess I just missed him. Well then, I should see what Mother... What was that noise? That would be Georges. Oh, I didn't realize he was going to be home. Shall we check in on him? No! This won't do at all. It needs more wild innovation and fiery passion and solemn beauty matched with the squeeze of delicate eroticism that doesn't undermine the impact of the piece as a whole. Ugh. It has to be a good kick to the marbles. Has he finally lost his marbles? Holy heck, well look who it is. I didn't know any better. I didn't know you were back, Dee. And you know, it's uncouth to barge in on someone without knocking. He knocked several times, and he called out to you through the door. I must say, though, Georges, it is much more uncouth to take out your frustration on inanimate objects. Oh, you're there too, Michelle. I couldn't see you in the shadow of this hulking barbarian. You really are a teeny tiny little gal, aren't you? Mother will not be pleased when she sees the mess you've made of the room. Oh, my dear Michelle. I'm going to let you in on a little secret. True art is only born in the fires of pandemonium. Is that so? You could at least pretend to care. So, would you care to explain this pandemonium? Oh, you want to know? You want to know all about the masterpiece buried in the wellspring of inspiration? Oh, you'll never be able to turn back once you know, but if you're really sure, I can give you all the juicy deets. I don't care that much now. Didier, cold-hearted. Shall we see what Mother needs to talk about, Michelle? Yes, let's. Hey, wait! Have you no heart, you Philistines? You're supposed to grab me by the shoulders and beg to hear what all the fuss is about. If it'll make you stop shouting, fine. Give me the short version. Wow, there's so much for brotherly love. So the royal family's planning construction on a new chateau in the city. And guess who the king himself has to do all the paintings for it? Really? Oh, man, I forgot that. I'm using window mode. It doesn't, game capture and OBS does not pick this game up for some reason. Why, moi, of course. The great artiste, Georges Bollinger. Is that so? What is wrong with you two? This is huge. It's huger than huge. I would wager His Majesty did not, in fact, come within 1,000 meters of you. Well, it was no fun if you limit yourself to only the truth. I somehow doubt you're in charge of all the art, either. So, in other words, there's almost no truth to your claims. Hey, I really was commissioned to do a new piece for the new chateau. And this disaster area is all you have to show for it. Yep, and I don't know what to do. It's a chance for me to make it into the big leagues. I gotta paint something that'll go down in history as one of the great works of our time. Perhaps it would be better if you didn't put so much pressure on yourself. You do much better work when you're relaxed. You're brilliant, Michelle. Let's go out on the town and let loose, just the three of us. That's exactly what I need right now. I've barely had time to sit down since I've got back. Ahem. Ah. Sometimes I think there might be no hope for the three of you. Not even a word to your dear mother. A good day, Mother. My apologies, I meant to see you as soon as I returned, but... Crap. Mom's gonna flip her lid. We better get out of here before she brings her wrath down on us, Michelle. But... Georges, I heard every last word. What big ears you have. Care to repeat that? Repeat what, my beautiful mother? I swear, young man. So, how did your expedition go, Didier? Did you run into any trouble? No, I proceeded without issue, thank you. Everyone returned safely by the grace of God. Well, that's wonderful to hear. I prayed for you every day, and it seemed he heeded me. I want you to know I've quite missed you, even if Georges and Michelle robbed me of the chance to tell you first. I'm deeply relieved to have you back in perfect health. Oh, there is no need to be dramatic, Mother. I was never in any danger of not returning. Nonetheless, I too am. And there's no need for you to be so stiff around your mother. Sorry. It's good to be home, Mom. That's more like it. Welcome home, my darling boy. Jeez, just look at him go. Grown man fawning over his mother like a little boy. Make sure you give him crap about it later, Michelle. But... you really need to learn to whisper more quietly. Oh, I wonder who you inherited those ears from. I swear you. So, Mother, Michelle tells me you have something important you want to speak with me about? Yes, that I do. I'm sure you'd like to rest after your trip, but would you come to my chambers for a bit first? Certainly. Ooh, what's this? Can I come too? This is my business. Why should you be allowed to stick your nose into it? Because it sounds like fun. And maybe it'll help give my muse a nice kick in the rump. And it's not a private matter, I don't mind. In fact, maybe it would be better if you were there too, Georges. Heck yeah! You're coming along too, Michelle. What? Why would I? What am I going to do with you three? What do you think? Of the painting? Well, it's a fine piece. Clearly not made by Jordan. I would have done 10 times better. Who's the heck responsible for this rubbish? Quiet boy. Does Georges have a disease where he'll die if he isn't running his mouth every waking moment or something? Not the painting itself. The girl in the painting. She's pretty, I suppose. Do you like her? In what sense, Mother? Where are you going with this? This girl is the daughter of the Castagnier estate to the south of us. Or what she'll look like a few years from now. In a few years. And she's still a child. She is, yes, and her family's trying to complete arrangements for her marriage as early as possible. Her marriage. The Castagniers are a respectable family with lots of land. We have plenty to gain from this arrangement. All you need to do is say... Mother. As I have told you on several occasions, my body and soul belong to the church. I will neither succeed father nor take a wife. And you're firm in your decision? Yes. I'm sorry to disappoint you. That's very disappointing indeed. I would be so much more comfortable with you taking over the house. Well, what about you, Georges? Do you have any interest in her? I don't know. I'm not really feeling it. Now, Georges, you do realize that Didier not becoming the head means that you will be, right? So you can't make a decision like this, which will affect the future of both our houses for generations, because you are not feeling it. That's easy for you to say, Ma, but I can't change what appeals to me. It'd be all for nothing if we couldn't hit it off and never had any kids. And tell me, what is there not to like about her? Well, I don't know. This is literally not the person who is existing right now. This is a painting. There's no personality here. She's a beautiful young lady. Yeah, and what else? Oh, she's pretty, sure, but I'm getting nasty vibes from that picture. Looks like a real sourpuss. I want some more, you know, cheery. If I'm going to have to spend the rest of my life with her. I wouldn't go as far as him, but there is something about her that doesn't sit right with me. I'm not sure how to put it into words, though. She looks just that way in the painting. I'm certain you'll find her to be a lovely girl when you meet her. How can you be so sure? You haven't seen her yourself. Anyway, not interested, and that's that. Such a wonderful offer, too. Once I'm sworn in as an official court artist, I'll be up to my ears in marriage offers. Something even better will come along. I promise. Yeah. I'm sure he'll be swimming in women. I'm afraid with your attitude, this may be the last offer we ever see. Don't you worry. We've got ourselves a proud Knight of the Order, the most sought-after artist in the land, and a brilliant, beautiful princess. If that's not a recipe for success, I don't know what is. Oh, Georges. Is something troubling you, Michelle? What? No, nothing. My mind was wandering, that's all. I say, look what you did, Mom. You upset Michelle by being such a worrywart. Throwing me the wolves, are you, my boy? Oh dear, Michelle. Just being cautious about our future. I'm not as worried as I may have sounded. I have the 3 most wonderful children in the world. I couldn't be more blessed. We're strong, and together we're even stronger. I have no doubt in my mind we'll thrive and grow for generations to come. Yeah. We'll all be together. Forever. Well, that was a weird sound. For a brief moment after waking, seeing only darkness, I forgot where I was. As my eyes adjusted and the world faded into view, a faint sense of disappointment swelled up in my breast. That was over a decade ago. A life I no longer had. And in fact, a life I couldn't be certain I ever had. For all I knew, my mind could have fabricated the entire thing. But in short order, the wave of sentimentality receded. A few years earlier, that yearning for bygone days would leave my heart in tatters, but now I had grown largely numb to it. This was the life I knew best. I wasn't a 13-year-old child anymore. Nor was I a girl. Nor was I a member of the Bollinger family. I was a demon most frightful, exiled to a remote mansion. His dark throne, the Santo Dele. The Witch Morgana. Kill the accursed thing. Those were the first words uttered by the witch upon my discovering the being lying in a heap outside the front door. The witch had haunted me ever since the day I resurrected her at the top of the mansion's observation tower a few years earlier. At first, her constant whispering in my ear had been insufferable, driving me to my wit's end. I did everything I could think of to deny her existence and push her out of my life. But that too had passed. I had been drained of all will to fight against her, or frankly, feel anything at all. No joy, no anger, no frustration, no sorrow. Perhaps it could be said to mean that she had defeated me, but in retrospect, the witch causing me to encase my heart in stone had consequently kept me from being miserable every time I received a letter from my mother. Made me think getting worked over some stupid words on scraps of paper was a waste of time and energy. So, while I wasn't at the point of gleefully cozying up to her, it was true that her presence had made my life easier. I can't stand the sight of it. It's utterly dreadful. The witch wanted me to kill them, but instead I crouched down to get a better look. They seemed to be dead already. It appeared someone had died on my doorstep, and because of the way they were clothed, I couldn't make anything out beyond that at a distance. It's faint, but they're still breathing. Look, you can see their chest moving. I'm surprised she noticed. I can barely tell up close. I reached my hand out to roll them over, at which point the witch gave me an exaggerated sigh. I wouldn't recommend touching them. They're diseased. That's why they look like a human raisin. That was indeed one way to describe them. What had first come to mind for me, though, was something I had read in a book about how desert cultures would mummify their dead. The person on the ground looked like what I imagine a mummy did, though I was under the impression mummification was performed in order to preserve the bodies of high-ranking individuals. Which is to say you weren't likely to find one collapsed on your doorstep. Ignoring Morgana's warning, I put my hand on their arm. It twitched, and they let out a groan. Just a swift stab through the heart, and they won't have to suffer any longer. The person didn't seem to have enough strength to sit up. Barely enough to hold on to the last vestiges of life. Their fingers continued to twitch, but it didn't seem deliberate. The tall grass in which they were lying seemed to want to swallow them up. Do it, my dear. Send that poor soul to heaven by whatever means you please. Or perhaps they'll end up in hell. They're not long for this world with or without my help. And who's going to have to deal with the rotting corpse in a few weeks if you just leave them there? Next month's delivery boy, presumably. Imagine the look on his face when he finds it. Imagine what he'll tell your family when he returns. It would make everyone's lives easier if you just killed them here. Bury them somewhere nearby, let them nourish the earth with their flesh. If there's any nourishment left to be squeezed from them, that is. Or you could try luring some animals here. There wouldn't be a trace of gore to clean up if you let a couple of wolves at them. And they'd get a nice meal out of it, so everyone wins. I can't imagine they'd find much to enjoy on this pile of bones. How cold. You have no room to talk. You're clearly enjoying yourself. My, why would you ever make you think that? There's been nothing to entertain you recently. I certainly haven't been talking much, and nothing of note has happened. I can tell you've been bored. A few quiet weeks hardly counts as boredom compared to the years I spent in slumber. If you say so. Brushing the witch's distractions aside, I put my hand back on the vagrant's arm and flipped them over so I could get a better look. They were much lighter than I had expected. Their arm was a little more than flesh and bone, and that flesh felt like leather. Couldn't guess their age or even gender. They were dressed in unadorned brown robes and a cowl. One thing stood out about their dress, though. Their mask. And when I removed the mask, I was greeted with torn, wrinkled flesh and eyes so sunken it was disquieting. I wasn't sure what I saw beneath it could even be called a face. Bandages covered their head from the nose down, and what hid beneath them was in even worse condition. I couldn't tell where their noses end, and their cheek into their mouth turned into a gaping gash. Even as close as I was, I could barely make out the sound of their breathing. They almost certainly wouldn't survive much longer. Good heavens. As I thought the witch might find some compassion in her heart for the dying vagrant. Get rid of that filthy thing. I was immediately proven wrong. Her tone of voice was like that of someone who had found rotten food in her pantry while looking for something to eat. As I said, they're diseased. You should stay away unless you want to end up like that. Your leg's too frail to hold you up. Your body withered and your eyes sunken, worthless orbs. It's highly infectious. I largely ignored the witch's whisperings. She liked toying with me, so I really couldn't take what she said at face value. She was more happy to lie or exaggerate for the sake of tormenting me. There was no guarantee their ailment was contagious at all. So just hurry and get rid of... Are you listening to me? I hoisted the vagrant onto my back. A simple task, even for me. Perhaps the least fit man in the world. They were smaller than me, but not child-sized. It was like I was carrying an empty sack of skin. This will give you something to stave off your boredom. I told you I am not bored. Heavens, I never took you for the kind of raving lunatic who helps strangers. I wasn't bringing them out of the goodness of my heart. They simply piqued my curiosity. There was something oddly amusing about the whole twisted situation. A witch, a demon child, and a living mummy. They had a sitcom. And what better place to gather them all together than a cursed mansion? I also think that some part of me wanted to see and feel death up close. What's going on? I can't see a thing. But my eyes finally started going, and I was so close to that mansion. But I guess this is the end of the line for me. Wait, no. I still have my vision? It's dark as hell. Where in the world am I? I'm on a bed? Good morning. And who the hell is that? What's going on? I don't... But maybe... Can you not speak? No. I can talk. But it hurts. I was just a little startled. By what? The angel that's come to meet me at the gates. He doesn't seem to have taken that one well. The man sitting there was a curious specimen. And yeah, I know, pot me kettle, right? It appears almost as if he was part of the surrounding darkness, an ethereal being that might vanish when I next blink. Not human, but merely something taking its form. Though the more I looked at him, the more it seemed like, rather than him being part of the darkness instead radiated from him, which is probably where the angel bit had come from. This isn't the afterlife. No, I guess it isn't. If this were heaven, I wouldn't feel like death, and there'd be at least a dozen half-naked ladies hanging out for me. But it hurt like hell, so I must still be alive. Reality's a bitch, huh? That said, though, I feel like I'd get on a lot better with a stony-faced angel like him than what they usually advertise. The sack of bones in the bed had a voice like dry leaves scraping against one another. While carrying them to the room, I noticed several of their joints seemed to bend in ways they shouldn't, so I thought they might be on the older side. But upon closer inspection, that did not appear to be the case. The way they talk makes them sound young, too. I'm going to guess a man. Early 20s, maybe? If you're not an angel, then you must be the witch. I beg your pardon? I'm just kidding. Don't bite my head off. You don't look anything like a witch. If only they believe that. He's not as far off the mark as he thinks. But he doesn't need to know about my childhood. So hey, would you spare a bit of water? My throat hurts like 12 kinds of hell. I'm sure you appreciate being able to understand me better. There's some right there. Huh? Oh, you already got some for me. Thanks. I'm bending my damn arm. Mind grabbing that for me? Did no one ever teach you how to say please? I'll lighten up, would ya? Show a dying fella some pity. Maybe he wouldn't have died if I left him out there. He's much feistier than I expected. In fact, nothing at all like I imagined. When he was still lying half dead on the ground outside my door, there was a mystique about him. As a mummy, he was interesting, which gave him inherent value. But now that he was awake and talking, he was a normal human. Almost excessively so. I reluctantly picked up the goblet and handed it to him, watching as he pulled down the wrappings covering his mouth to drink. Seemed like he wanted to go down the whole thing in one go, but judging from the groans I heard, his body wasn't cooperating. A few years earlier, I may have sympathized with him, but not now. All I felt now was curiosity. What was this sick man doing in front of my mansion? What brings you here? Can you at least let me drink in peace? Let me tell you, man, I'm in no shape to be multitasking. It takes all my attention just to drink a glass of water. Plus, it's darker than hell in here. I can barely see what I'm doing. You're free to leave if you're not happy here. Once I'm through with this water and had a chance to rest, and maybe a complimentary glass of wine on top of that to raise my spirits, I'll be right out. Rather brazen for a guest. Oh, I'm a guest now, am I? I thought I was just a subject for your observation. I hit the nail on the head. Are you implying that means you should have free reign here? Sure am. Stop worrying about a lot of things when you're on the verge of death, you know. What's the worst that happens if I piss you off? You kill me? All that means is I lose a few days. No more risk in acting like I own the place. Not a bad deal if I do say so myself. You certainly are lively, talkative for someone on the verge of death. I did just have a heaping helping of the elixir of life. Sighed to myself. I'd take it in quite the high-maintenance specimen, it seemed. There wasn't going to be much worth observing when he was full of such vitality and his lips never stopping flapping. He was exactly the kind of person I could at least stand to be around. I could practically hear the witch saying, "See, what did I tell you? You should have just listened to me and not wasted your time and energy." which only made the whole thing that much worse. But curiously, I couldn't feel her presence, even though she was seemingly always around. Maybe she was afraid she might catch whatever disease this man had. Can spirits even get sick? Oh, never mind her. I have more important things to deal with. Like how to get this man out of my house. Anyway, you were asking what I was doing here, weren't you? Well, I was looking for something. In that search. Back up a sec. What is this? What is this place anyway? Sure doesn't look like a tiny little one-man shack. Not that I can see much in this dark, but these furnishings don't look cheap. It's a mansion. Yours? Half of it, roughly. So, you live with someone? In a sense. Huh? Now, I don't want to sound rude, but... Oh, well, we're well past rude at this point. Go on. Already making friends. So I'm curious. There wouldn't happen to be any rumors about this place, would there? Such as? Like, say, a cursed witch dwells within its halls? Oh, for the love of... That's what he was searching for? Hell yeah, I'll take that size a yes. Excellent. Fan-frickin-tastic. I was heading in the right direction. Let me stay here for a little, please. Are you out of your mind? I have a favor to ask the witch. That's the whole reason I came here. I don't know what you've heard, but the witch isn't one to go around doing people favors. Whatever your wish is, it won't be granted here. Hey, you never know. There's a first time for everything. And I doubt this is it. Why is he so fixated on the witch anyway? The witch of legend was said to be cursed. She was spoken of around these parts only in whispers. People stayed away from the mansion for fear of provoking her wrath. Her curse had destroyed an entire city, it was said. I had no way of knowing whether that much was true or not. But I did know that the witch was real. I couldn't figure out how someone could hear the rumors about the witch and decide I'm gonna ask her for a favor. It's beyond ludicrous. Well, now that that's out of the way, thanks for the hospitality, buddy. Stop right there. I never said you could stay. Anything I could do to change that? Not a thing. Now, I was hoping I wouldn't have to do this, but you left me no choice. I'm saying with or without your permission. What the hell makes you think you have the right? I'll happily comply with whatever the head honcho here decides. But remember, you said the mansion was only half yours. So until there's a unanimous agreement to boot me from everyone with a stake in the property, I'm sticking around. This little weasel. I won't be just a straight up leech though, don't worry. If you need help with anything, chores, whatever, just give me a shout. Name's Imion? But to do that, I guess you need to know what to shout, huh? The name's Imion. Pleasure to meet you. Ain't now giving me the silent treatment. Is that how you're gonna play this? Flat pretending I don't exist? No. My mind just froze up for a moment. Looks like he's serious about staying. Which is a problem, even setting aside the witch situation. The more contact I have with anyone, the greater risk there is that word of my survival finds its way out. No, what? And that said, he isn't long for this world. His vigor won't last. That much is certain. In fact, it might be smarter to keep an eye on him. Make sure he's dead before he has a chance to tell anyone about me. Hello? I need help finding your way out of your thoughts, buddy. Death will find you long before the witch does, I'm sure. Yeesh, that's the first thing that comes out of your mouth? I've braced myself for that outcome already. But following the logic of that zinger, it sounds like you're giving your approval of my stay. Resigning myself to it may be a better way to put it. It's all the same to me. So tell me, what's your name anyway? Unless you want me to stick with calling you an angel, or the witch's right hand, that is. I am neither of those things, thank you very much. So, what should I call you? Michael. Michelle. Derived from the name of the Archangel, Michael. What was that about you not being an angel again? See, I kept calling him Michael the whole damn time. His name's actually Michelle. I kept calling him... His name was Michelle with 2 L's, but now it's just Michelle with 1 L. But since he's a guy now, kinda, I call him Michael. His name's Michael. I haven't wanted to strangle someone this badly in a long time. And what exactly do you think you're doing? The witch spoke almost as soon as I stepped into my chambers. I could hear her voice right in my ear as if she were standing right beside me. Which was especially jarring as she had been completely absent during my conversation with Imian. She seemed to know what we talked about though, so I assumed she had been spectating from a safe distance. What do you mean? You are hardly the type to take in poor wandering souls on a whim. You're right, I should have asked you first. This is your house, after all. Half mine, you mean? I should be thanking you for letting me have half of it. But you are the master of this house, and I... Go on. I was never master. So I have no say in who you choose to let stay here. But you will heckle me about it. Oh, of course. And I need my entertainment, too. So, what are you going to do about whatever his name was? Imian. Right that. I was hoping you would chase that dreadful thing out. He says he has business with you. Oh, does he now? So you weren't listening to the whole thing? Oh, I'd be more than happy to hover over you every waking moment if that's what you prefer. I'd rather you didn't. As you can see, I respect your personal space. It wouldn't hurt you to show a bit of gratitude sometimes, you know. Thank you. So, what does that man want with me? I have no idea. All he said is he wanted to ask the witch a favor. A favor? Indeed. What a farce. I agree, you would never grant the wish of a... No, not that. Then you happily passed on a stranger's request, but vehemently refused to make your own of me. The offer still stands, my dear. Just say the word, and I'll put a curse on your entire family. I told you repeatedly that I am not going to ask you to do that. I'll stand as ever, I see. Anyway, I never asked you to grant his wish, I only conveyed to you that he had one. He'll be dead in short order regardless. A week or 2 at most. How tragic for him, betting the last remains of his life on the legend of the cursed witch, only to be dealt a pair of heartless jokers. In all likelihood, he just wants to cure whatever disease he has. Why would a witch who deals in curses cure diseases anyway? Now, it's not polite to judge someone by their appearance, my dear. Are you saying you can do it? Maybe, maybe not. Regardless, there is but one thing the 2 of us can do for him. Watch as the poor wretch's life slips away, alone and in the dark. Christ, this is hell. It shouldn't be this exhausting just to walk down the hall. I'm sure I'll have to get a little more light in here. Might make moving around easier. Nah, this is fine. No light means I don't have to worry about how monstrous I look. This face is like a curse in itself. Okay. So the only places I haven't seen yet are this room and Michael's room. And he made it very clear he did not want me anywhere near his room, so... in practice, that makes this the last one. Here goes. Damn. A huge stained glass window sat at the back of the chamber. The archangel within casted a faint light across the room. The light almost burned my eyes, which were still acclimated to the darkness. Felt almost like I was in the presence of an actual divine being. So we've got a guy named after an angel and a stained glass window of an archangel. Whoever called this place cursed didn't look very hard, I guess. This is closer to a damn temple, if anything. As I approached the source of the light, the shape of the room came into view. Rows of pews, a pulpit, and a cross. Looked like I was right on the money. I was in a chapel. Well, the remains of one, anyway. The wooden pews had rotted to the point of uselessness, and the floor was peeling all over the place. It was like an abandoned shrine to a saint, hidden away in the dark corners of the mansion. Fascinating. The worst of it's been mended, but you can still see marks on the wall where it looks like it's been struck with a sword or something. Did a battle take place here? There's splotches of black on the floor. Bloodstains, maybe? There's something on the pulpit, too. Ah, my mask. I figured he threw it out. So Michael isn't all cold and heartless after all. Or maybe he just didn't feel like going outside. Who knows? Either way, I'll happily take it back. He's already seen my face, so it doesn't change much. But I feel better covering it up either way. My disease was highly stigmatized and said to be just as infectious. Not only was it obvious from my appearance, I was also required to carry around a bell to alert others of my presence. I lost that while wandering through the forest, but up until then, whenever I walked into a town or city, I had to ring the bell as I walked. And surprise, surprise, it invited all sorts of dirty looks and people scrambling to get away from me. Churches would sometimes offer me aid, but that was once in a blue moon occurrence. Effectively, I've been through nothing but hell up until now. I hadn't done a damn thing, yet they'll treat me like a murderer. In fact, I'd almost bet a criminal didn't get half the crap I did. Just thinking about it killed my mood. He didn't hesitate to touch me, though. Does he not know what I have is contagious or something? I mean, it makes my life easier, at least. And speak of the goddamn devil. Hey there, Michael. It's been, what, a couple hours? I found Imian in the chapel. He had put his mask back on, despite the fact that I already seen what it hid. I couldn't imagine whatever he gained from wearing it was worth the obstructed vision, but surely he had his reasons. One hell of an impressive window you've got here. I had a pretty good guess where he was going with that train of thought, and I was entirely disinterested in humoring it. He would start off with something about how beautiful and awe-inspiring it was, mention the Archangel, and then try to lead into, you could make a frickin' fortune off this. I beg your pardon? Glass doesn't come cheap, especially not the colored stuff. I was thinking you found the right buyer, you could be rolling in dough. Does he have any idea of just how sacrilegious that is? Let me guess, you're thinking, does he have any idea how blasphemous that is? And now you're thinking, can this fella really read my mind? I am not. You just say what's on your mind. Otherwise, I'll just have to keep saying it for you. Sorry to disappoint you, but I'm not particularly talkative. I'm not saying you have to yap on for days like me. Well, what you said was indeed blasphemous. I do not disagree with this statement. Oh, really? It's just chunks of glass arranged into shapes. Bingo! There's no actual angel there. It's just man's depiction of one. Who are you, anyway? Well, that sure came out of nowhere. And you wanted me to spill my guts without doing the same for me. My apologies. I have not had the chance to hold a conversation in some time. I see, I see. And you are not obligated to say anything if you do not wish to. I would not answer if you asked me the same. Ah, sounds like we're on the same page then. The more we share, the more comfortable it's going to make for everyone, so let's keep things the way they are. A nice, cozy distance. I may be curious as all get out, but what the hell are you doing out here all alone in the middle of frick all? Well, I won't pry. Alright, I'll tell you what I can. I'm a nomad. Before I got sick, I traveled all across the lands. I had me a nice lute I'd strum as I trotted from place to place, singing songs and pretending I was a troubadour. You were a traveler. I could tell stories of my exploits for days on end if you want to hear them. I'll pass, thank you. Your eyes tell me you're lying, buddy. I'd rather you listen to what I said. War stories over dinner then? Sounds like a date. Now I've got a little question for you, if you don't mind. Not about where you came from or anything, I promise. Yes? Why didn't you say anything about my face? I assumed you were going to ask about the witch, not me. Hard not to be curious, you know? Everyone's grossed out by it. He makes a fair point. Even Morgana was taken aback by the sight. I can imagine he would appear monstrous to someone who's led a relatively normal life. And he's probably just been subjected to less than charitable treatment because of it. Which makes me wonder, how is he not drained and jaded by now? I don't understand how he can be so spirited. I have seen the kind of hardship that can be brought onto someone by their appearance. So what you're saying is it's nothing new to you? Correct. I did think it a little unusual, but nothing more. I understand your ailment is contagious. What? You knew? Why did you help me then? Why didn't you hesitate to touch me? You carried me into the mansion and you handed me water, all while knowing you could be infected? I couldn't figure out how to honestly explain my actions. Part of it was me deliberately acting against Morgana's wishes, frustrated by her repeated insistence that I kill him. But the aura of death that hung over him was the biggest factor. There was something indescribably alluring about it. All I'll say is, I would have left you if you were in good health. So it was pity. You've got nothing to gain from helping me. I don't have any money, and I'm definitely not a hot babe. I have no interest in money or women. And to be clear, I did not bring you in out of the goodness of my heart, either. When you said you were the subject for my observation, you were correct. You're here predominantly because I wanted to observe a withered, half-dead mummy of a man. A mummy, huh? Well, I hate to burst your bubble, but I'm just an ordinary guy. Unfortunately so. And here I thought you were only observing me because you didn't know about my disease. Never would have guessed it was the other way around. God, you really are one of the most bizarre fellas I've ever met. I was just gonna not say anything, keep it to myself, use this as a chance to stretch my wings, enjoy not being the unclean for once. Didn't much care either way if you ended up catching it, so The witch has declined your request to speak with her. Not even let me finish, huh? I'll take that as a no apologies necessary then. Well, shit. You have no reason to remain here. I left the bar off the front door for you. The witch was my last resort. I saw who knows how many doctors. Not a one could do a thing. Hell, as soon as they saw me, the assholes had around me blind with fees. It'll cost extra because they're putting themselves at risk, they'd claim. So I traveled to other cities, towns, villages. Docs weren't going to do anything. Maybe I have better luck with regional remedies. Everything from herbal stuff to straight up hocus pocus. No effect. Any of it. I have no interest in apology or his life story. So why haven't I turned and left yet? Curiosity. It's the better of us sometimes. Why am I standing here, listening to him talk? All that's left for me to turn to was God and the devil. But I figured God would just say, accept your lot in life. Shrug his shoulders and tell me to die in a ditch. But I wanted to live. Even looking like that. Damn right. So what? Do you believe that if you tough it out, one day your valiant efforts will pay off? That there's light at the end of the tunnel? Because it's all fairy tale nonsense. Oh, you're right. The real world doesn't work like that. We just tell ourselves it does because it makes it easier to get through the day. For the fact of his life's a big old swamp and no one's got a map. Wrong step and it swallows you whole. Like a game designed by a goddamn 5-year-old. The odds are stacked against you, but like hell am I gonna go down without a fight. I got nothing to show for it yet. Which is exactly why I'm not ready to kick the bucket. You never will have anything to show for it either. Your desire to make something of your life will only serve you to drag you deeper into the depths. The more you tell yourself you can, the greater your pain when you realize you can't. Sounds a hell of a lot like you're speaking from experience, buddy. As I said, the witch will not be seeing you. You would do best to look elsewhere to fulfill your dying wishes. You never know, bud. Tomorrow's another day. Maybe she'll be in a more accommodating mood then. But I'm not gonna let one measly no get the better of me. The Witch Morgana is a sadistic woman. If she reveals herself to you, it will only be to torture and kill you. Can't say death much scares me these days. It's knocking on my door regardless. And you can never say for sure. Every woman's got at least 2 masks she switches between. Maybe she'll pick a friendlier one for me than she does for you. Sure. Even if she would hear you out, she doesn't have the power to heal you. Ruin and destruction is her singular desire. I have to ask. All you want from me is to watch me die, right? So what do you have to gain from warning me about the witch? Doesn't worrying about me run counter to your own wishes? I am hardly worried about you. Could have fooled me. I'm simply making a statement of fact. You would only be wasting your time trying to see the witch. I haven't seen the proof, so I'm not convinced it as much of a fact as you claim. Which means this conversation's going exactly nowhere. Do as you please. I won't try to chase you out anymore, but don't come crying to me when my words prove true. Much obliged, buddy. That's one less hurdle I'll trip over on my way to making a huge ass out of myself. I would like you to promise me one thing, though. Sure thing. I'll leave the bar off the front door. So when the time comes, make sure you save enough energy to get yourself out before you die. I don't want to have to clean up the mess. You're a real treat, buddy. Alrighty, I think I'm going to call it there. And that was a little glimpse into the fan disc of the House in Fata Morgana. A Requiem for Innocence. Out now on Steam and Mega Gamer. I think there's a sale going on right now. Otherwise, I think it's normally like $15, $14.99. So it's not very expensive. So yeah, that's it. And that's looks like one of 3 stories. Look, there's 3 different stories. Obviously, because the game's cheaper, it's probably not going to be nearly as long as the first game. But, you know, hey, more Fata Morgana is never a bad thing. And I'm looking forward to playing the rest of this on my own time. So with that, I will bid you all adieu and have a good night. And take care. Have a good weekend.